Hello everyone, and welcome to Let's Talk About, the show where I ramble on about various video game topics. And today's subject is the Nintendo Switch. Well, it's finally happened. Nintendo has finally unveiled what the NX, their next Nintendo console, is going to be, and it is called the Nintendo Switch. And from this initial trailer, it really looks like it's going to be an evolution of what they were trying to do with the Wii U console, in that it's both a home gaming console and it's also a portable console. I don't believe their vision was really realized as much as they'd hoped for with the Wii U, because I think a lot of people just preferred to play it on their TV. Well, I can't speak for myself. It always looked like playing with the gamepad just by itself is a bit clunky, because it's quite large. And while the Nintendo Switch gamepad looks to be pretty big as well, it looks a little more sleeker than the Wii U did. So it'll be interesting to see how the Nintendo Switch is like the next level of the portable gaming console that Nintendo was trying to make with the Wii U. But the really neat thing about the Nintendo Switch is all the different controller combinations it can do. You can do lots of different alterations with the Nintendo Switch controller. There's your traditional game controller, if the console's plugged into your TV and you're just playing it on the home console. But if you take the console unit out and you plug in both the left and right parts of the controller onto it, then it becomes a portable gaming device. And then you could also detach various parts of the controller to kind of use like small, almost Wii Remote or classic Nintendo style controllers, and then just play them like that. So the fact that you can have all these different controller combinations with the Nintendo Switch is something I don't think I've ever really seen before. So it'll be really interesting to see how you can kind of tweak the controller to your preference based on where you're playing, like whether you're playing at home or playing it while you're traveling. It looks like you can do a lot of really cool stuff with it, so that's going to be very exciting to see what all you can do. And another interesting thing they revealed in the announcement trailer was that if more than one person has a Nintendo Switch gamepad, you can actually play multiplayer across the multiple screens. They showed 4 people playing across 2 controllers, but since you can detach the left and right components on each Nintendo Switch controller, that means every one of those 4 can have their own little controller to play on. Because it looks like both sides of the controller will have an analog stick, they'll have some variation of the D-pad, and they'll also have 4 face buttons as well. At least that's what it looks like they'll have. We'll have to kind of wait and see how well that works in practice, but the idea of it is super cool. And I like how they're trying to keep split-screen multiplayer alive, because it's always more fun to play with other people in the room. Even though online is always loads of fun, I've always preferred local play the most. It's the most exciting. The only concern I guess I have at the moment is if they're pushing for the portability of the Nintendo Switch. I just wonder how long the battery life of the unit will be. It looks like you charge the controller, or the gamepad rather, in the little console slot when you're at home. And so it can power the device from there, and as soon as you take it out, it goes and activates the internal battery, and then you can just play on the gamepad controller from there on out. As I said, it'll just be interesting to see how long the battery life lasts. I'm hoping it'll last a good long while, because there's been some console portable devices that like have long battery life, like the DS's over the last couple of years, and then there's been other portable consoles that I loved, but they ate batteries for breakfast, like the Sega Game Gear. So I'm pretty sure the Nintendo Switch is not going to be in the same vein of Game Gear, but I'm curious to find out how long the battery life for the actual controller is. But I guess the thing I'm most excited for is this means we'll finally be able to play some home console games on the go. While we've sort of been able to do that in the past with games like with controllers like the PlayStation Vita, being able to do cross-play on the PS4, PS3, and PlayStation Vita, it looks like we'll finally have something like that can play more AAA mainstream games. The idea of playing Skyrim on the go just kind of blows my mind. Although, knowing me, it'd be really hard to focus on anything else if I'm playing that game while traveling, because that game totally sucks you in. But again, just the idea of being able to play games like Skyrim and like big, grandiose RPGs and beautiful games like that on the go is something I think that's really exciting, and I'm really anxious to see what Nintendo has in store for this new console. I must admit, I was not expecting this to be their next console. I thought maybe Nintendo was going to go for a more traditional console, and in a sense, they have, but again, they're pushing the more portable aspect of it, and so, as I said earlier, it seems like an evolution of what they were trying to do with the Wii U. It doesn't appear to have any stylus controls, so I don't know if they're doing away with the touchscreen altogether, or if they're just integrating it differently. And one more interesting thing to note is that they're going back to cartridges. All Nintendo Switch games will be on a cartridge, or possibly for download as well. I don't think they mentioned that in the trailer, but they'll all be on a cartridge slot. So it's interesting how Nintendo keeps going back to their tried and true game format of the cartridge. They did discs for 3 console generations with the GameCube, Wii, and Wii U, and they're bringing back the cartridge for the home console. So in that way, it's kind of fun, and hopefully that means the cartridge can kind of cut down on some of the load times maybe and performance issues that maybe some of the other more recent consoles have struggled with. So I'm really excited for the Nintendo Switch. I unfortunately have never been able to get a Nintendo Wii U. I've wanted to, I just haven't had the means to over the past year or so. But provided the price point isn't too outrageous, I might pick myself up a Nintendo Switch. Especially if there's a Metroid game on there. That's always a first-party title that really gets me excited for a Nintendo console. So what do you think of the Nintendo Switch? Are you happy with the direction Nintendo's taking their new console, or would you have preferred a more traditional gaming console? Feel free to discuss in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. So thank you for watching this video, and until next time, keep having great adventures, everyone!